So any of your classmates are affected or infected? No response? None of your classmates are infected? What about your school? What about your school? Okay, good. Okay, so then what is your attitude towards it? Are you scared, or are you just okay? It's fine. No response. Okay, it's okay. So okay, yeah, you look fine. I mean, your this emoji looks fine. Okay, good. So whatever happens, we are ready. Like, we can have an online section anytime. Okay, if COVID hits, yeah, if COVID hits. So this COVID should not stop us from living our life to the fullest. Okay, okay, we should carry on what we need to do. Okay, by the way, how do you feel about your test last week? 1 to 8. Okay, 1 to 10. So 1 to 10. 10 is the best. 8.5. Okay, so when you say you get 8.5 out of 1 to 10, so you must have some questions that you want to ask me from the test. So can we just sort that out first before we go to our before we continue with our homework? Yeah. Yeah, one don't know. Okay, so do you still remember the questions? Yep, I don't remember. Okay, but what is it about? Do you remember what is it about? Of course, it's about mathematics. You won't be tested on Russian history, right? So what is it, like, which topic, which concept, or which theory? Do you still remember? No response. Okay, so it's okay. So may I know when are you getting back your results? No idea. Okay, IDK means I don't know. All right. Okay, then it's okay. Then we will carry on with our work. Okay, we'll carry on with our work. Let's open the PDF. Is it PDF? Let's see. Okay, this. Yeah, this is the PDF. And can you erase your handwriting first? Okay. Let me look at this. Okay, I would like to start with this. Okay, because before this question, everything before this question, I think they are kind of like old topics to you already. So I would like to start with something new, and then just to make sure that you know what is this about, what this question is about. Then we'll go to the previous questions. All right. So you put a star here. I guess star means you don't know what this is about, right? That means you have no idea what is this, right? Okay, so if you have no idea what this is about, then we should talk about it without further ado. Okay, before that, let me launch an app. So if you're using an iPad, I really recommend you to download these 5 apps. Can you see here? GeoGebra Classic 6, or and GeoGebra Graphing Calculator, and then of course GeoGebra Geometry, and then what, Calculator Suite and CAS calculators. These 5 apps, they are completely free. Okay, so I'm going to use the graphing calculator. Okay. Okay, so I have launched the graphing calculator from GeoGebra. Okay. By the way, some of your schools materials, they might be using this app without you knowing it. Okay, you don't have to sign in. So all you need to do is just download the app, and then you can play with the app. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I can actually answer this question with this app. Okay. And by the way, this app is a very powerful app for you to graph, for you to draw graphs, right? So over here, can you look at this? Can you see this is kind of like your graph paper over here? And do you have the horizontal axis? Can you see the horizontal axis? Okay, which is from left to right. And can you see the vertical axis, which is up and down? So you can actually zoom in or zoom out. Okay, it depends what is the scale you want. So if I zoom out right now, I think you can see this is -8. I'm looking at the horizontal axis first. So you are having -8 to 8, all right, for the horizontal axis. Okay, left to right. And then you have your this vertical axis, and what you can see is you have this -10. If you look at the bottom, the -10, and then it goes up to 6, all right, for the vertical axis. So these are called a scale, all right, these are called a scale. Okay, so now if you look at the question here, I mean the one in blue, so you can see that it says label your graph, represent the points on the graph on the left. So right now I already have this graph, okay, with the scale, all right. The scale means like you have to label, okay, you have to label, okay, labeling of the scales. So these are labeling of scales, all right, the numbers here, okay. And of course this point, so I'm going to make use of the tool here, okay. I'm over here, okay. You look at this cursor, I'm going to make use of the one of the tools here. So if you can see here, you can use the point tool here. I click on it. So in fact this point A here is your origin, okay. So the name is called origin, all right. The name here is called origin. In fact, I think you can actually label this. Let me see if you can label. Yes, you can use a pen. You can use a pen tool here, and then you can actually label this as your origin. Okay. So what is the meaning of origin in English? So origin means where it starts from. All right, where everything starts from. So the name origin means where everything starts from. So in fact, the point 0 here is the origin. Okay, so it's the origin. So everything starts from 0. Okay, even for the x-axis or for the y-axis. So I'm going to label my horizontal axis as the x-axis. Okay, which refers to the this horizontal axis is my x-axis in convention, all right. And then the vertical axis is called the y-axis. So you have to label all this, okay. Without labeling, you will be penalized, right? So the vertical axis is called the y-axis, and then the horizontal axis is called the x-axis, all right. Okay, by conventions. Conventions means what you use to do things, okay, how you used to do things. That's the convention. All right. Okay. So the first point you need to label is A, which is 1, 2. Okay. So do you have any idea where is 1, 2? If you are given this graph, can you label 1, 2? Can you label 1, 2 for me? All right. Yeah. So you are trying to find out 1, 2. Okay. So 1, 2. I think you have labeled the point wrongly. Okay, but anyway, it's your first attempt, so I guess you are bound to make some mistakes, so it's fine. Okay, so our first point is 1, 2. Okay, so based on our alphabet order, right? So you have X, Y, Z, right? That's the order, right? So X comes before Y, Y comes before Z. So this is the alphabet order. So so making use of this alphabet order, your X is actually your 1, your Y is actually your 2. Okay, so let me give you some terms for you to memorize. All right, so this format, A bracket 1, 2 is called the coordinate format. coordinate, coordinate format. Okay, they are called the coordinate format. So with this, a bracket 1, 2 is called the coordinate format, and this 1 is called the x coordinate, and then the 2 is called the y coordinate. All right. Okay, so the 1 is called the x coordinate, the 2 is called the y coordinate. So given this information, x comes before y, so 1 represent the x coordinate. So where is your point A? So your point A should be, so okay, this is your first attempt. I guess this is your first attempt, and then this is your second attempt. Okay, so I think your second attempt is closer to the answer. Okay, but probably because of you are using okay, even though we are using technology, and technology has some limitation, so you have to be really accurate. All right, so how do you get a very accurate point? So you can actually make use of this app. If you have this app, download it, and then you can actually start using this app. So the point is actually find your x equals to 1 first. So it's in between 2. So in fact, we can zoom in further to get a more accurate point. Over here, we still have some problems locating 1. I know it's 0 to 2, so it's in between, but in between is hard to locate. So let me zoom in further. So can you, once I zoom in further, right, you can get a more accurate x equals to 1, which is here. Okay, and where is your y equals to 2, which is here, right? So in fact, your point A is actually, let me get a cursor out. Your point A is actually this point, or rather, let me just make use of, you see, they are very smart. If you use the first point you plot is point A. So the second point you plot is called point B. So this is your point A, and this is your point A, where the x coordinate is 1 and where your y coordinate is 2. So this is your point A. And after you locate your point A, what you do next is you label. So remember to label the points. So how you label the point? You just label 1, 2. Okay, so that's how you label the point. All right, so the unnecessary stuff, I'm going to erase it. So I use a move cursor, then I'm going to remove this. Okay, so you can get a very good labeling of point A. So subsequently, point B, very simple. You have x coordinate -1 and then y coordinate 2. So the point B is, I'm going to go to the point 2, which is here. So -1, x -1 is here, and then 2, y equals to 2 is here. So this is point B. Okay, very simple, right? And then point C is -2.5 and -6. So it's hard to get -2.5 because I know -2.5 is actually in between -3 and -2, but still it's not accurate enough. So I want to be more accurate. So what I do, I go and zoom in more. Can I get 0.5? Yes, I can get 0.5. But somehow, I hope you can see that once I zoom into -2.5, my y, my positive y disappear, right? So let me see if I can actually drag down the entire graph. Yes, I can do it. You see, I'm dragging down the entire curve. So in fact, not only we are learning how to locate the points, at the same time, we are learning how to actually play with this app. You see, I can actually drag this app bigger. Then you have more real estate for you to play with. All right. So this is a very good app for you to actually do your homework. If you need to do your homework online, or you need to do your homework in a digital format. Okay. So hopefully you get to play with this app and you are very fluent in this app, so that next time when you present your answer to your classmates or during your class, and then everybody will be surprised that, oh, you know how to play with this app, right? Okay, so I need to locate minus 2.5 and 6. And I think you still can't see 6, right? The max is 5 here, right? Okay, so yeah, so 6 is here. And then 2.5 is in between. So let me see if I can make it bigger by zooming in. Okay. Yes, I can do that. Can you see? 2.5 is here, minus 2.5 is here, 6 is here. So I can locate the point very accurately. That's your point C. And of course, I'm not going to go through all the points, because if you know how to locate point A, you know how to locate point B and C, and then the the D, E, F, you just use the same strategy. All right. So remember, the most important thing, after you locate the point, you have to label them. So this B is your minus 1 and 2.5. 2. Yeah, this is the eraser actually. So let me go to, I need to use the pen too. Yeah. Right. So point C is your minus 2.5. Did I make a mistake? Yes, I make a mistake. Point C is minus 3. So that's why I have to move the C. You see, after you locate it, so when you label, you can actually double check one more time. So now I double check, I realize that this is actually minus 3. And I'm supposed to label minus 2.5. So it should be this point. So let me erase it. So it's quite easy to make mistake if you are not careful. But anyway, if you make a mistake, it's fine. You can always correct yourself, right? So minus 2.5 is here, 6 is here. So it's this point. Okay. I always tell my students, so it's fine to make mistake, but the more important thing is you need to self-correct, right? So minus 2.5 and then comma 6. All right. So you have labeled point A, point B, and point C. Okay. So for the subsequent points, D, E, F. Okay, I'm not going to go through that because you use the same strategy. So are you clear? Are you clear? No response. All right. So your yes looks not like a yes anymore. Okay. So okay, we use technology, the GeoGebra graphical tool to do this question. Then what if you need to do it on a graph paper? So if you are doing it on a graph paper, all you need to do is you must use a ruler. You must use a ruler. So just okay, sorry. So you must remember to use a ruler. Okay, what did I do? Okay, good. So come back to this. So you need to label X and Y. So X is your horizontal axis, Y is your vertical axis, and then label the origin, and then make use of your ruler. Okay, 1 cm to 1 unit. Okay, label. This is called label your scale. Okay, label your scale. So without using the technology, if you need to do it manually, this is what you're going to do. All right. So label all the points first. So over here, I do it manually without a calculator. So while you are doing it, you must use a calculator and make sure these are straight lines and the measurements are accurate enough, right? So let me demonstrate to you how to do D. Okay, so this is the X coordinate, this is the Y coordinate. So I have -3 is here for the X, 6 for Y. So you must make use of a ruler. Ruler means straight line. Sorry. So ruler means a straight line. So 3 go up and then 6 horizontally. Okay, so they meet at this point. So this is the point for D. So this is your -3, 6. Okay, so you use the same strategy for E and F if you need to do it manually. Okay, so I will leave it to you. I will leave it to you whether you want to do it manually next time, or you make use of this app called graphing calculator by GeoGebra. Okay, I will leave it to you. So how you want to do our homework next time, I will leave it to you. You can use technology, which is this app, or you can make use of this manual method. Okay, so you have no excuse not to know how to solve these questions next time. All right, so later on I'm going to explain further, okay, what knowledge you need to learn for this graph questions. All right, so but before I go further on graph questions, so I will look at previous questions first. So the previous few questions, right, they are basically algebraic manipulation. All right, so it involves algebra plus numbers. Okay, so let me just okay, you have not shown me your working, so remember, during your exam or test, you must show your working. If you don't show your working, you will get penalized, right? So hopefully you don't get penalized during your test. All right, show the workings step by steps. So for this question, so I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you just one question, and then for the other two, you just use the same strategy. All right. So for me, the strategy is more important than the answer itself. Okay. So for this question, you have 3x plus 3 equal to 5x minus 6. So underline similar term first. Always underline similar term. Okay. So I use straight line to underline my x term, and then I use wavy line to underline my non-x term. Okay. Then once I have underlined similar terms, and then I decide to move. Okay. I decide to move the terms or group similar terms together. So 3x and 5x, I have decided to move the 3x over what? Over the equal sign. So I copy down the equal sign first. 5x, it remained on the right hand side. And then now I have decided to move the 3x over from the left to the right. So when you move over, you need to change the sign. So 3x becomes minus 3x. Okay, so similarly, I have decided not to move the plus 3. So plus 3 copy down, still on the left hand side. So now I have decided to move the minus 6 from the right to the left. So what do I get? Minus 6, when you move it over the equal sign, minus, you need to change the sign, it becomes plus 6. So you have plus 9 equals to 2x. So x, how do you get x? You can divide by 2 on both sides. That's why you get 4.5. So 4.5 equals to 6x. So x is equal to 4.5. Okay, so that's how you get 4.5. All right. So I'm trying to show you the steps. All right, the steps. So during the exam, you're supposed to show the steps. Without a step, you are not correct. Okay. So, and by the way, I have emphasized this a lot of times. Once you get the answer 4.5, right? Actually, you can check the answer before the marker mark your paper. How you do it? All you need to do, put the 4.5 back to the question. So how you do it? Just put it back to the question. So this is your left hand side, and then this is your right hand side. And you ask yourself whether they are equal or not. If they are equal, your answer is correct. If they are not equal, your answer is wrong. So let's check it out. So over here, this will get you 12.5. Plus the 3, you will get 15.5. Right? For this one, you will get 22.5. And then you minus 6, you will get 15.5. Okay, good. So the left hand side is LHS, is equal to right hand side RHS, short form. So if LHS is equal to RHS, that means this answer is correct. So that's how you can check the answer before the marker marks your paper. So that's the advantage. Okay, that's the advantage of moving on to secondary 1 and beyond. All right. So you have no excuse of getting the wrong answer anymore, especially for this kind of question. So always check back, put it back to the left hand side, put it back to the right hand side, and if they are equal, you are right. If they're not equal, you can mark yourself wrong. So when you are wrong, self-correct. Are you clear? So for these two questions, I will leave it to you. I will leave it to you for you to check. Okay. But the method is this. Okay, it's all here. Okay, thanks for your return response. Okay. Okay. This question. The distance from my house to the tuition center is 5 kilometers. So the distance is fixed. And by the way, this distance is equal to speed times time, right? This formula. Speed times time. This formula should have been discussed in P6, but somehow due to COVID or due to other unforeseen circumstances, this topic or this concept, distance is equal to speed times time, was not discussed in your school, but we talked about it, okay, during our tuitions, right? So this is the formula you have to memorize. Distance is equal to speed times time, and this question is about this concept. Okay, so let's look at how we can solve this question. All right, so you did not get tested for this concept during your P6 PSLE, but going forward, your Sec 1, probably your mid-year or your term 3, you will face questions like this. All right, so let's look at it now. By the way, we are actually ahead of your school curriculum, just for your information. It says what? I took X hours by bus, house to tuition center. So distance is 5. Time is X. So what's the speed? So it's 5 over X. Very good. But the speed is, so the unit for speed is kilometer per hour. Very good. Okay. For your information for speed, right? The unit for speed, there are only 2 possible, I call it S, they call it SI unit. Have you heard of this term, SI unit? Have you heard of this term, SI unit? Yeah. Okay. So what do you understand? What do you understand by SI unit? Okay. Let me elaborate further. SI unit means, right? In fact, for time, you can use hour, you can use minutes, okay, or you can use seconds, okay, or you can even use days. You can use months, okay, to represent time. But SI unit means something like commonly used, okay, commonly used, okay. So generally, when it comes to speed, right, for your level, when I say for your level means Sec 1 to Sec 4, okay. So the SI unit or commonly used unit is kilometer per hour or meter per second, okay. So what was the implication? Okay? How does this SI unit affect your work in the future when it comes to this kind of question? So next time, whenever you get a question, you can only express your speed in kilometer per hour or meter per second. So what this means is, for example, you get, instead of X hours, they tell you is half minute. Okay, for example, half minute. So you have a 5 kilometer here and you have half minute here. Can you say, oh, so since distance is, I'm going to use short form, distance equal to speed times time. So over here, my distance is 5, and then my speed is, I need to find, time is half minute. Can you just use 5 divided by half? And then you will get 10. And then you tell people, oh, my speed is actually 10 kilometers per minute. Can you use this? What do you think? So the speed for this journey is actually 10 kilometers per minute. Do you think your answer is correct or not? Thinking? No response? Any idea? So what do you think of this answer? 10 kilometers per minute. Is it correct? Okay, you think it's correct. Okay, so technically, this value is correct, but because of SI unit, the commonly used unit for speed is kilometer per hour and meter per second. You look at this. This is what? This is kilometer per minute. Today, I mean, does this kilometer per minute fit either of this? The answer is no. Okay, so you have to convert. Okay, you have to convert. So you have to use either kilometer per hour or meter per second. Technically, the value, I mean, the answer here is correct, but it is expressed in the wrong unit. So, strictly speaking, this is wrong. All right. So, how you do it? Convert the unit. So half minute is equal to, probably you can use meter per second. So half minute you convert to seconds, you get 30 seconds here. So 5 kilometer convert to meter, 5,000. So you just use 5,000 divided by 30 seconds. So speed is equal to 5,000, which is the distance in meters divided by the 30 seconds. You don't have to write the unit first. Then after that, you will get 500 divided by 3. Can you help me out with your calculator and give me a mixed number? 500 divided by 3, and give me a mixed number. So this will be in meter per second. So can you write the answer here also? Let me see if I have a calculator here now. I think I have. Yeah, here. This GeoGebra CAS calculator. Let me see if it's useful. As useful as your calculator. Okay. So let me just key in. I'm going to key in 500 divided by 3. Dun -dun. So what's the answer? They give me this. I don't want this. Okay. This is in decimal number, which I don't want. I make mixed number. Okay, looks like yeah, looks like they don't give me the mixed number. So your calculator is more powerful. So I think it's 166 2/3. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the answer should be 166 2/3. So just now I tried to use this GeoGebra CAS calculator. Okay. So the calculator can only give me decimal number or this improper fraction. While I'm supposed to get proper fraction. Okay. So this is, I think this is the, let me see, this is the limitation, I think. Or maybe I have not explored this enough. So if I figure it out, I will let you know. But so far, I will get the improper fraction or I will get the decimal number. Okay, but it's still better than my calculator on my this Mac Mini. Okay, good. So basically, this is the correct answer because this is the SI unit for speed, meter per second. So this is accepted. Okay. Okay. So your first answer is correct. Your second answer is also correct. But can I ask you, the last one is the time difference between the two was 0.5 hours. So how do you form an equation? Okay. How do you form an equation? So what's the meaning of time difference between the two journeys? Half an hour. Any idea? I think it doesn't make sense, right? This question doesn't make sense, right? You know why the question doesn't make sense? When you start it, I don't know what it means, but probably you can. Okay, there are times the question itself does not make sense. So when the question does not make sense, right? You cannot leave it empty. Yeah? You need to reason out why it does not make sense. If you think, okay, let's say I say, okay, it does not make sense. Okay? It does not make sense means this is also an answer. Right? When you leave it empty, that means you have no answer. Right? When you write something, this does not make sense, it's also an answer. You are telling the marker, hey, this question does not make sense. Okay, let me explain to you why it does not make sense. Okay. Number one, the first journey is X hours. And then it says on the way back is 1/4 hour more. So what this means? This means this is your journey back, which is X plus 1/4 hours. So what's the difference between these two? The difference between these two is you use the bigger time minus the smaller time. So if you use the bigger time minus the smaller time, you get 1/4. So 1/4 is 1/4 hour, by the way. And then the question says the difference between two journeys is 0.5. And it does not make sense. It says the difference between the two journeys is half an hour. Clearly, the question says the difference between the two journeys is actually 1/4. So, can you see these two? They contradict each other. Can you see they contradict each other? So when they contradict each other, that means this question does not make sense. So, hello? Okay, good. So, it does not make sense is also an answer. No answer is also an answer. But when you leave it empty, that's not an answer. Are you clear? Are you clear now? Hello? Okay, so when you reach set one, okay, I will say very, very rarely you will get question without an answer. Very rarely. It means very seldom. Very often you will get an answer. Okay, but once a while you will get questions that does not make sense. When it does not make sense, you have to tell it does not make sense instead of leaving it empty. All right, empty is not an answer. No answer, when you write down no answer, like when you write down no answer, okay, or it does not make sense. Okay, what I'm trying to say is when you write down it does not make sense, right? You also have to write down all this reasoning, okay? You cannot just say it does not make sense and then leave it. All right? Cannot. So it does not make sense, then you have to explain why. So if you have something to support this statement, it does not make sense, and then if your reasoning is reasonable enough, valid to support this, it does not make sense, you will get the marks. Are you clear? Are you clear? Okay, good. So that means when you reach set one, you should open up your mind. Sometimes questions might not have an answer. Okay, when questions that does not have an answer, please say so and support why it does not have an answer. Okay, so this is the explanation. All right, so this is something for you to open up your mind to, because I think we are so used to having an answer for a question. Right? Like I say, very often you will get an answer for a question, but maybe once in a blue moon, you will get no answer. Then you have to say so why there is no answer. Okay, with explanation. Okay. All right. Here, what's this? The time taken by a carpenter to make a chair is 3 hours. So one chair takes 3 hours. So you have 17 hours. So what is the number of chairs can he make? Okay, so 5. Okay, so if 6 chairs, it takes 18 hours. So it's less than 18, it's 17. So you need 5, like 5 something. But we are talking about the number of chairs. So for number of chairs, you have to take the whole number. So n equals to 5. All right. Okay, good. Okay, then for this question, I mean for just question 19, this 20 and all this, right? So you need to use the same approach. So I will just take one question and just, okay, probably I will just take this question, the last question, and then you use the same technique to solve. Okay, so I think you make a mistake here. And let me show you why you make a mistake. Okay. Because this question, I asked one of my students to solve it yesterday, and she did not get 1. Okay, so let's see if you really you make the mistake or the other student make the mistake. Okay, let's go through it together. Okay, so you have x, and then you have this, you have this. Okay, there are 2 strategies. I'm going to show you the first strategy. So first thing first, your x, you convert it to a fraction form. So you convert it to fraction form. Okay, so you can, okay, in this question, right, something is you can do something to this first. I'm going to show you why. Because over you have 2, you have 6. What you can do is you divide by 2 on top, you get 1. You divide by 2 below, you get 3. So in fact, you do the simplification first. Okay, I'm going to show you why you can do the simplification first, then it makes your life easier. Okay, so now I've done the simplification. We talked about this, right? Last time, you simplify it first before you do any question. It's going to be easier. So you simplify, you get 1x on top, you get 3 below. So now, can you see that you have denominator 3 here? You have denominator 3 here. So the next step is just make the denominator 3 for the first term as well. So how you get the denominator 3 for the first term? You times the 3, both numerator and denominator. And then you will get 3x over 3. Right? Okay, so once you get this, the next step is very simple. This is an equation. Why? Because there is an equal sign here. So this entire thing is an equation. So when this is an equation, what you can do, you can delete the denominator. Because you have the same denominator, you can delete the denominator. So once you delete the denominator, things are pretty simple. Why I say so? Can you see? You only have what? You only have 3x minus. Okay, this is the most important part. When you minus, you don't just minus the 2x, you minus the entire thing here. That's why you put a bracket there. Okay, that's why you need to put a bracket there. If you never put the bracket, you're wrong. Okay, so probably you make a mistake here. Okay, then after that, then you open the brackets. So the first arrow you will get minus 2x. The second arrow you get minus 2. And then of course minus 2 you get plus 2. And then this is x plus 2 is equal to x. And looks like this question does not make sense because you have x plus 2 is equal to x. So so this question does not make sense because how can 0 plus 2 equals to x? I mean, how can x plus 2 equals to x? It does not make sense, right? How can something plus 2 equals to something? This does not make sense. Okay, but okay, regardless. Okay, regardless. But the key about this question is not the last step, not here. The key about this question is over here, where you need to put a bracket. Okay, so similarly, I'm not sure if you can get the correct answer for this also. So probably I should make use of this question to demonstrate once again the importance of putting a bracket here. Okay, because if you don't put a bracket here, your minus will only minus the 2x. It will not minus the back. So the importance of putting a bracket here. Okay, so before I continue, let me get the bracket there first. And now I'm going to get this question out to see if you get the correct answer. By the way, there is a very quick way for you to check whether your answer is correct or not. Just plug in the number back to the question. Okay, so let's solve this together. So you have 4, you have 3, you have 6. So the LCM of 4, 3, 6 is 12. You can't tell prime factorization, all this, then you'll be able to tell. Okay, then you will see that, oh, the LCM is actually 12. Okay, that part I will leave it to you. Okay, so over here 12, so you need to times the 3 here, times the 3 here. So times the 4, and then times the 2. I'm trying to make use of the same denominator, then later I delete the denominator because this is an equation, so that I can delete the denominator. Okay, so I'm trying to show you how to use this approach, like deleting the same denominator throughout. Okay, so this one you will get 3x. I'm going to like times in, so you get 6. So this is 12 minus, so times, so you get 8x minus 8, 12, 4x, 12. So this part, delete 12 throughout. Why? Same denominator, equation, delete the 12. So once you delete the 12, what you end up with? 3x plus 6 minus. Okay, this is the most important step. You have to put a bracket there. If you don't put a bracket, what is going to happen? You will just minus the 8x, okay, which is not what you want. You want to minus the entire 8x minus 8. That's why you put a bracket. Okay, so you get this. And after that, open the bracket, minus x. So first arrow, minus 8x. Second arrow, minus 8. Minus become plus. Okay, so you can simplify the left hand side first. The left hand side is this. So underline similar term, 14. And then you get minus 5x. Okay, so I can actually move the minus 5x to the other side. So when you move to the other side, 14 remain on the left hand side, 4x minus 5x, you move to the other side over the equal sign, minus 5x, change the sign, becomes plus 5x. So you get 14 equals to 9x. So you divide by 9, left, right. So yeah, so you just make use of calculator, then you will get this is the answer. Okay, so your answer was wrong. Your answer was what? Minus 2 over 9. So your answer was wrong. Okay, so like I say, you probably make a mistake here without the bracket. Okay, without the bracket, you are actually minusing the 8x only. With the bracket, you are minusing the entire thing, which is this entire block. Okay, so it's important to get this right. A lot of students, they get this wrong because they fail to put the brackets there. Are you clear? Are you clear? So far so good. Okay, good. So hopefully you get it right the next time. So how do I make sure that you can get it right the next time? Is by probably you want to redo this question after my demonstration just now, because what I see is I see the minus here. I see a minus here. So can you redo this question? Let me get it to the PowerPoint, so you get to redo this question, and remember to put the brackets for the second fraction. Okay, so can you redo this question to make sure that you have understood when you should put the brackets, and so that you don't make mistakes like just now. Okay, so I leave it. I will pass this to you, and you can actually do it here. All right. Okay, I read it to you. Okay, you can start. Let me make it spacious enough. Okay, good. Okay, good. You can start. Are you doing it here or are you doing it on a piece of paper? Or you are getting ready? Looks like this question does not involve the technique just now, but never mind. Yeah. So this is also a good question. Continue is okay. Yeah. I would like to see which approach you use also. Yeah, continue is okay. Y minus and plus, y minus. Why just now? Why just now was plus and now is minus? So should it be minus or should it be plus? What do you think? Should it be minus or should it be plus? We'll talk about this. Should it be plus or should it be minus? What did we say? First thing, underline similar term. So when you underline similar term, then only you will know whether it's minus or plus. So can you see V and V, I use wavy line to underline. Then for non-V term, I use straight line. Okay. Then you must be wondering, hey, this minus sign, how do I know whether the minus, okay, let's talk about this minus sign first. Let's talk about this, the first minus sign. So how do I know whether the minus sign here, the first minus sign, it belongs to the 70/9 or it belongs to the 7/6 V? What do you think? This first minus sign, it belongs to the 70/9 or it belongs to the one in front? What do you think? It belongs to be in front or it belongs to at the back for the first minus sign? At the back. Okay, good. So if you agree that the minus sign belongs to the 70/9, okay, good. So that means the second minus sign, which is here, it belongs to half V. That's why when I underline, the V term, I underline the V term with the sign included. Okay. So if it's not clear enough, let me extend the wavy line. Okay. So if it's not clear enough for you, let me extend the straight line. Okay. So once you get this, okay, once you get this right, like you know which term the minus sign belongs to, now the simple thing, I mean now it becomes very simple. Why? Because what I see here is you are trying to tell me this thing, you want to move it over the equal sign to here, right? So when you move this minus half V over, what's the rule when you move things over? When you move things over from the right, this is the equal sign, over to the left, you have to do one thing. You have to change the sign. So over here is minus. When you move it over, you change the sign, minus becomes plus. Similarly, I also see that you move this minus 70 over 9, you move it from the left to the right, over the equal sign. So over here is minus 70 over 9. When you move it over, you need to change the sign. So minus, move it over, it becomes plus. That's how you decide whether it's plus or minus. So the next step is the terms that you never move this, right? 7 over 6V, you copy down. You never move this, right? So copy down. So this is negative 35 over 3. It remains as 35 over 2. Are you clear by now? Are you clear by now? So the most important thing is you have to change the sign if you move things over equal sign. Okay, so once you get this, then the question becomes very simple. Okay, so basically this is one approach. This is one approach. So instead of getting it to the same denominator, this is also one approach. Okay, this is one approach. If you don't want to get it into the same denominator, this is one approach. Okay, so I think I will just stop at here for this question, because the main part, the main point for doing this question is when you move things over the equal sign, you have to change the sign. All right, you have to remember this. Okay, so I think I will say you are smart enough, right? You're smart enough to get this right by now, because I think we have talked about this. When you move things over the equal sign, you should change the sign. Okay, you should be smart enough to move beyond these mistakes. Okay, we shouldn't be stuck at this so many times. All right, so I also don't want to be stuck at this algebra manipulation for so long while we can actually move ahead, because I think your school has caught up. Okay, your school has caught up, so we should move a little bit ahead so that you feel more comfortable. All right, okay, good. So let's look at this question. Can you remove your handwriting? Okay, good. So what's the parameter of the triangle above? So the parameter you just add. So once you add these three together, yeah, you get it right. So if the parameter of the triangle above is 40, then you just equate this to 40. This is the parameter, right? This is also a parameter, right? So 7x plus 3 is the parameter, in x. 40 is the parameter, is the real parameter. So you have the parameter in x, you have the real parameter, equate it. When you equate it, then you can get the x. So like I say, plus 3, you move it over. So when you move things over, you change the sign. So plus 3 becomes minus 3. So 7x is equal to 37. So x is equal to 37 over 7. Of course, you can use a calculator. You get a mixed number, which is 5, 2 over 7. Yeah, the value of x is 5, 2 over 7. Okay, so they ask for the value, so you just give it the value. No need to give the unit. Okay, value. So just give it the value without the parameter or without the unit. Okay, how to get x? Okay or not? Okay, good. Next. So yeah, so going forward, you will learn about shapes. All right, so I just like want to by the way, I think this is this was taught in your P5 and P6. Okay, so I just want to like refresh, okay, refresh your understanding. How do you get the heights for triangles? Okay, so label this is the base. How can this be the height? Should be this, right? This is the base. This is the base. So if this is the base, the height should be here, which forms the 90 degree. So this one is wrong. This one is correct. This one is yeah. So your labeling, okay, your labeling should be better. Your labeling should be here. Not pointing to the base. So for this, so pointing to here, then for this, yeah, pointing to here. Okay, so you have to be careful when you label. Okay, this one. Bala gave 10 friends Y number of sweets each. So 10 friends, Y each, total is 10Y. He still has 3Y sweet left. So plus 3Y. So how many sweet started with? Okay, 13Y, very good. So this is the working. If Y is 3, then plug in Y equals to 3, so 39. Okay, good. Okay, over here. What's this? Okay, so this is number pattern. So number pattern. So it's also a revision. Okay, so don't assume that you will not get don't assume that P6 concepts won't be tested in Sec 1. In fact, from Sec 1 to Sec 4, you will be tested anything before, right? Whether you learn it in P5 or you learn it in P6, okay, you will be tested everything before. If you are in Sec 1, everything before Sec 1, you'll be tested. Okay, so you cannot say, oh, your teacher never teach you in Sec 1. So understandably, you have to know anything before Sec 1. All right. Okay. So that's why I want to introduce some P6 concepts. Okay, just to make sure that you remember whatever you have been taught before Sec 1. All right. So I think you have no problem getting the next 3 terms because it's pretty simple. -3. Okay, -3. Okay, good. So nth term. So how do you get the nth term? So for number pattern, I think I gave you the formula last time. Do you still remember the formula for number pattern? First number. Okay, plus. Can you fill up the rest to test if yes you still remember? I test this question. I test my other students for this question, and none of them remember the formula. Let's see if you can remember. Well, I give you the hint. First number plus. Can you remember? If you remember, fill it up. Or see how much you remember. While others can't remember. Can you remember? Without referring. Can you remember or not? Cannot. Or you are thinking. I give you 10 seconds. If you cannot, that means you answer no. If you can, you write something. Huh? Counting down now. Okay. Okay, never mind. So none of my students remember the formula. Okay, so this is something I want to highlight to you. So like I say, when you are in set 1, you are expected to know everything before set 1. All right. So first number plus the difference times n minus 1. So the n here, right? So I'm going to show you. I'm going to explain to you what is n here later on. So if you simplify, okay, no need to simplify. You can actually try to key in the number already. What's the first number in this series? It's 60, right? That's the first number, right? 60 is the first number. What's the difference? The difference is minus 3. Minus 3, not 3, minus 3. So it's n minus 1. So simplify this. Go in, minus n. Go in, minus minus, plus 3. So simplify again, plus minus 3n, plus 3. So plus minus, you get minus. Plus plus, you get plus. So simplify it, you will get 63 minus 3n. So this is your nth term. So you have answered this. Okay. Nth term here means in terms of n. So this one is in terms of n. So they ask for the 45th term. So what I do, 63 minus 3, 45th term. That means my n is equal to 45. So it's 63 minus 135. So it's minus 72. Okay, so that's how you get minus 72. So I don't know how you get minus 72. So this question, if it's like, let's say it's 2 or I don't know, maybe 2 marks. At least 2 marks. So if you just show the answer without working, you only get 1 mark. You only get 1. So in order to get 2 marks, right, you need to show the working. Okay, like this. Or you can use another approach. But if you are given the formula, why you want to use another approach, right? Okay, so please remember the formula. And now, how do you answer whether this minus 134 is actually in the series? Okay, very easy. So the formula is what? I mean, the n term is 63 minus, so 63 minus 3n. So if n is equal to 45, you will get 63 minus 3 times 45, you will get minus 72. So I'm actually answering this question. All right. So now, instead of giving you the n, right, they ask whether this one is in the series, meaning like whether 63 minus 3n can be equal to minus 134. So how you do it? Continue. So this one, 63, bring it over. So minus 3n, because this one, you never move it, just copy down. Minus 134, you never move it, copy down. 63 plus 63, move it over, becomes minus 63. Change sign, right? So you have minus 3n, and then this one you will get minus 197. So n is equal to, you divide by minus 3, so you get you don't get a whole number. You will get 65 and then 2/3, I guess. Yes. So n is not a whole number, while n is supposed to be a whole number. So you should say, since, so basically what this means is, this means the 65th and 2/3 term is negative 134. Do you have the 65th 2/3 term? You don't have. You only have the 65th term or 66th term, right? Am I right or not? Okay. Because when you count, right? So let's say the first term is 63. The second term is 50 is minus 3, yes. So the term is 47. So your nth term refers to your number. This one is the value. Okay, so if you go down the series, your 65th and 2/3 term is your minus 134. But how can you have a 65th and 2/3 term? You cannot, right? So if you cannot have the 65th and 2/3 term, so therefore you cannot, this one is not in the series. So since n is not a whole number, I hope you still remember it's a whole number. Whole number means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? So minus 134 is not in the series above. Okay, so for this question, if it's a 3 marks question, so now I'm teaching you how to score full marks. So if this is a 3 mark question, you are supposed to show, this. Show you get n equals to this, and then you are supposed to explain this. So when you reach set 1 and beyond, so you need both English and mathematics to answer one question. Okay, you need a combination of mathematics and English to explain one question. Are you clear? Are you clear or not? Okay, so yeah, so it requires more from you. Okay, probably before set 1, okay, you just have to give it the mathematics. Okay, but for set 1 and above, you have to use both. Okay, so yeah, I think we can take a brief break here. So see you in 5 minutes so that we can start our second half, right? Okay, see you in 5 minutes. Let me stop sharing. Okay, I'm back. So let me know when you are back as well. All right. Can I get an update from you? Which topic you are learning in school? Which topic you are learning in school? You don't learn anything. Oh, then go, no school means what? I mean, online learning, right? Or what? Only. Why? Why you didn't go to school? So special. You suspected you or you what? Or you positive? 什么叫 10A？ 什么叫 10A？What's 10A？LOA leave of absence. Yeah lah, leave of absence because of what? You suspected suspected infected what? These days the only thing not telling. Okay lah, never mind. It's okay. Anyway, if I see you alive, I see you alive, that means you are fine. That's the most important thing. When you are alive, that's the most important thing. Other than that, does not matter. Anyway, our dearest Lariana, you sing? Yeah, she's also LOA, I guess. Okay, good, but she's fine, I guess. Okay, so I last heard from her mom, just having a small, having a fever. I think she's recovering also. Okay, good. All right. Okay, be positive. Yeah, be positive. Okay, we have to be positive in life, huh? Okay, regardless. Okay, Danny has this, and then Eddie has this. So Eddie have. So Eddie 5x more. So just add 5x to this. So 5x add with the previous one. Okay. Okay, good. Next. Frank has twice. Twice means 3x. That of who? Danny. Danny is this. So you 3 times this. So 3 times this, then you just have 12, 2x plus 20. 3 times, put a 3 in front, so it's 36. So 36 over here is 72x. Then this is 720. This is Frank. Then this is Eddie. Then this is Danny. Total, add up. Okay, so how come they ask you total first? Oh, they are supposed to ask you this. Okay, but never mind. They can ask you in any order. Okay, so this is correct and this is correct, and then you just have to add it up. Okay, so I think this should be correct. Okay, so yeah. Oh, by the way, just for your information, I had lessons with over the weekend. I had lessons with two other students. So I asked about whether their classmates also got infected or not. They say yeah, a few. Then I asked what was their attitude towards their infected classmates. So they say yeah, it's fine. Okay, so they never isolate the person. So when the person comes back, then they just take it as normal, right? So yeah, so that's the attitude from the other 2 students. So I think yeah, don't be too negative about it. Then just embrace it. Okay, embrace. Okay, good. Okay, wow, we come to the last part already, very fast. So add the product of these 3. Let me see. Must read carefully. The product of 3xy to the. So that means 3xy. This is the product, means times, add to this one. So you need to split to this. Then after that, you first arrow you will get minus 1.5xy. Then you have plus 3. So you have 3xy here. Then this will get you 1.5xy plus 3. Okay, good. Very good. Subtract the product of a and y from this. Wow. Product of this. So it's ay. Lo. You subtract from. So it's 5ay minus ay. 5ay minus ay. I thought this should be 1ay. So you are supposed to get 4ay. Yeah, you're supposed to get 4ay. Okay. Are you clear why you get? Why you are supposed to get 4ay instead of 5? Okay, so 5ay minus 5a minus a. You don't assume that 5a minus a, so a and a cancel, so equals to 5. Wrong. 错. So it's just like 5a. So you have 5a. 咁你有5個 a minus 1a. 5a minus 1a. So you get 4a. 5個 a 減去1個 a, 4個 a. So that's why you are supposed to get 4ay. Okay, not 5. Not 5. Okay, good. Next, divide the product of this one. Product of this one is 21xy. That's the product by the product of 3x. Okay, very good. 7y. Add the product of product 3y to the sum. Sum 是这个. So you add. So these two can combine. Okay, very good. Okay, good. So yeah. So based on this homework, right? You did pretty well for the algebra manipulation. Okay, but when it comes to this kind of question, this one. Okay, especially these two. Okay, for the behind fraction, you must put a bracket so that you will not make that common mistakes. Okay, then of course when you move things over the equal sign, you have to change the sign. Okay, so these are the two things you have to remember. For this, this time difference, so this question does not make sense. So you have to explain why it does not make sense, right? Why it does not make sense. Last one but not least, yes. So for graph question. Oh, by the way, this kind of concept is called Cartesian coordinate. So it's just for your information now. It's called Cartesian coordinate geometry. Okay, so it's for your information. This concept is actually under the Cartesian coordinate geometry. Okay, so you can use either manual method. Manual means you have to label the scale yourself, or you can make use of this app called geogebra graphing calculator, which is here. Okay, so I will leave it to you, whichever way or whichever way you use. Okay, either manual or technology. So like I say at the beginning of the lesson, I'm going to explain further what you need to know when it comes to Cartesian coordinate geometry. Okay, so we talk about how you label the 2 points. How you label the 2 points in this in this graph. Okay, so I have labeled A, B, C. So now let's look at how we can continue further with these points. Let me delete the unnecessary stuff first. Let me delete the unnecessary stuff first. Okay, I should use the move. Okay, good. Delete. Yeah, I highly recommend you to learn how to use this software, this app, because I find that this app is going to save you a lot of time when doing Cartesian coordinate geometry questions. Okay, I also, by the way, this app is also new to me. I have used it for several times with the other students. So I think it's pretty easy to pick up. Okay, so I highly recommend it to you. And some of this is free. Okay, good. So you have point A, point B, point C. So how you label the points? Bracket and then x coordinate first, then y coordinate later with a comma in between. So it's just like your name, huh? You have your name. Okay, let me just take myself as an example. If you don't want to use your name. So my name is, let's call myself Kang Lu. So this is my family name. And this is my given name. So this is called the convention. This is called the convention. So in English, we use given name first and then family name later. In Chinese convention, it should be family name first and then given name later. Okay. So this is Chinese convention. Chinese convention means the Chinese tradition. Okay. Then this is the English convention. Okay. So for points on the graph, so the convention is bracket and then x coordinate first. This is the x coordinate. First, and then the second one is called the y coordinate. Okay, so given this information, x and y coordinate will give you a point. Okay, so you have to have two coordinates to give you a point. So something like you need to have a family name and a given name to name a person. Okay, at least I would say at least, yeah, to name a person. Okay, so so let's learn some conventions first. Okay, next, then now you can actually look at let me choose a pointer. It's faster to delete stuff. So now with 2 points, right, you can link up the 2 points to get a line. So let me get a line. So let me see if I can do this. Sorry, it should be here. So yeah, like I say, this is my first time. Yeah, so can you see? Okay, good. So sometimes I make a mistake, but it's fine. I get my line AB already. Probably I need to erase the D. See if I can erase the D. Oh, if I erase the D, the line will be gone. Okay, so let me not erase the D. Oh, okay, good. I just need to point to A and point to B, then I will get the line AB. So this is your line AB, right? Can you see? Can you see? This is the line AB. Okay, so if you have the line AB in this graph, right? So what is the name? So like I say, right, the point has this name, the point has this name, the point has this name. So that means a line also has a name. So there is a name for the line. NAME, yeah. There is a name for this line. Okay. So how do you name this line? So this line is the line AB. Okay, line AB is not the name. Line AB is just a general label. It's just a general label. Okay, so it's not a name. So how do you name this line AB? Therefore, we need to learn the concept of every line. Okay, I will say every straight line. Every straight line. Every straight line on the graph paper, like here, has a name. And the name, the convention, it's just like our convention is for Chinese name is Lu first, family name first, then given name later. So my name is Lu Kang. Okay. So for every straight line on this graph paper also has a name, and the convention is y is equal to mx plus c. And we are going to talk about this concept from today onwards. So next week onwards, we will touch upon this concept. Okay, we will touch upon this concept. Okay, so like I say, even you are at your you are under LOA, right? Don't worry about it. We are ahead of your school, so yeah. So you not only you catch up, right? You are far ahead. So that's the advantage of having tuition. Okay, so okay, I can only speak for mathematics. Yeah, the rest you have to catch up. Okay, so yes, so every straight line has a name. So the name is y equals to mx plus c. Okay, and then the important thing is for you to find out the m, and you need to find the c as well. So what is m? What is c? Okay. So m is called the gradient. I'm going to explain one by one. Okay, so bear with me. C is called the y-intercept. Okay, C is called the y-intercept. Okay, so good. So let me get line BC out. Then I'm going to use line BC to demonstrate to you. Okay, we get the line B and then C. Good. So I get my line BC. Okay, so erase the unnecessary stuff. Yes. So my line BC is here. This is my line BC, and then okay, this is line BC, and then the name for every straight line on the graph is y. Okay, let me just make it smaller. So y. I shouldn't make it so small until I cannot get the tools out. Yes, so it's small enough. So it's y. Click the pen. So it's y equals to mx plus c. So for every line, okay, let me get rid of my name first. So a point C has this name. So line BC has this name. And my job is to figure out the M, which is the gradient, and the C, which is the y-intercept. So later I'm going to explain to you how you get these two. So the letters, the small letter M, it represents the gradient of this line. Okay, the small letter C represent the y-intercept of this line. Okay, so you know what M and C mean by now. So how do you get the gradient? Okay, the gradient is very simple. There is a formula. Okay, there is a formula. It's just like distance equal to speed times time. Okay, so how do you get the gradient out? The formula is y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. So I'm going to apply this formula. So for gradient, so and we are talking about what? We are talking about this line, right? We are talking about this line, BC. So can you see that for BC, right? You have point B, you also have point C. So since you have point B and point C, right? So point B is your starting point. So this is your starting point where your line starts. Okay, in fact, it goes beyond, but usually, I mean, your point B starts, and your point C is the next point. I call it the end point. Okay, even though the line here does not end at C, it does not start at B, but let's take it as okay, it start at B and then it end at C first. Okay, so this line BC, right? You start at point B and then you end at C. And then if B is your starting point, right? So you have your x1 here, which is your minus 1. You have your y1 is 2. So therefore, your endpoint C here, you have your x2, which is your minus 2.5, and then you have your y2. Okay, so that is how you get your x1, y1 from your starting point. That's how you get your x2, y2 from your endpoint. In this case, is C. So therefore, you can just plug in the value into this formula. So your y1 is equals to, can you see your y1 is 2? The y1 is here. This is your y1, 2. So I replace my y1 with 2. I replace it with 2. And my y2 is here. Okay, it's 6. So you have to do it step by step. It involves a lot of steps. And then now x1. X1 is here, the starting point, minus 1. So it replace it with minus 1. X2 minus 2. Minus 2/5. Okay, yeah. So you have to be very careful, must read carefully. So x2 minus 2/5. So minus 2/5. Okay, so once you get this, you can use your calculator. 2 minus 6 minus 4. So I'm going to do it here, minus 4. For the numerator, below, minus 1 plus. So minus plus. So minus 1 plus 2/5. So you get minus, you get positive 1/5. So can you help me out? Minus 4 divided by 1/5. Can you give me a minus 4 divided by 1/5? Can you give me in fraction? So what do you get? (2/3). Minus 2/3, yes. So you get 2/-3. Okay, so the gradient is minus 2/3. Okay, so I'm going to explain later. Okay, if you still have doubts, it's fine. At the start, you always have doubts. But when you do more questions, when you do more practice questions, you will get used to it slowly. But just accept it first. Accept it. The gradient is actually minus 2/3. And how do you get the gradient? You make use of the formula here. Okay, the formula is y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. And where do you get your x1, x2, and y1 and y2? You get it from the start point, and you get it from the end point. Okay, so once you get your gradient, the next thing is you get your y-intercept. Okay, what's the meaning of y-intercept? In English, what's the meaning of y-intercept? Any idea? Can you tell me what's the meaning of y-intercept? Any idea? Y-intercept. What's the meaning of y-intercept? What's the meaning of y-intercept? Y-intercept means y-intercept. So based on the English meaning, right? That means intercept y. That means intersection. What's intersection? Intersection means cross, cut across. Okay, cut across. Okay, so y-intercept means you cut across the y-axis. Okay, just try to understand from the English, perspective first. Okay, so let me erase it first. So y-intercept means you cut across the y. So if you look at this line BC, this is your line BC, right? Where it cut across the y-axis, this is the y, this is the x. So where it cuts across the y-axis is here, right? I mean somewhere here, right? So in order to get this point accurately, you need to zoom in. So I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to zoom into this point. Okay, so I'm going to zoom into this point. Let me zoom in further until I can get the point. Or you can use technology, like I say, you can use technology. Can you get rid of your handwriting first? You can actually use your technology, click on point, and then just place the point here. Point D is the intersection point with the y-axis. Then you just click on it one more time. Can they tell you the point value or not? What they say? Sorry. So I should get rid of the D. D is not needed. So yeah, D is not needed. While show A. Okay, show. I need to show. Wait. Okay. So I made a mistake. So turning point. No, I don't need. Okay, I still need time to figure out how to show, but this is the point. Okay. So let me see. Do they have anything I can use? Select. Let me see. No. I cannot. So never mind. So yeah, I cannot. So if I cannot, list, yes. Does it help? List created. No, still cannot. But never mind. Okay, so this is the point. So what is this point? Looks like I need to zoom in further. So it's like between minus 0.7 and minus 0.65. So in this case, right, it's not so accurate, but close enough. Okay. So if you read this, it's like let me go in further and see if it helps me to locate the point much more accurately. Okay, so minus 0.665. So it's between 665 and 0.67. So I call it 0.66. 665, because the gap is very tiny also. So it's very hard to tell. Okay, so this is minus 0.665, 666, 667, yeah, 0.667. Okay, good. 0.667, remember it. 0.667. Okay, good. Minus 0.667. Wow, you see, I zoom in a lot. So let me write down. So the point C is equal to minus 0.667. Okay, done. So y is equal to mx plus c. So it has this format. The line has this format. And I found out my gradient is minus 2/3 x plus. Okay, so my c is actually minus 0.667. So plus minus becomes minus. So the line BC is this. Are you clear? Are you clear? Are you clear or not? I press on the algebra here. I press on the calculator here. It shows me the point D already. Point D is minus 0.6666 all the way. So you round off in 0.667. Okay, can you see here? This point. So in fact, yeah, you can actually locate the point by the software. Then we don't have to zoom in so much. Okay, so now the line, the name is y equals to minus 2/3 x minus 0.667. Okay, so how do you check whether we have done correctly or not? That means how do you check whether this is correct? So you can use technology. How? Key input. You see, come to here. There is a plus sign here, right? Just click on here. Just input the input this into this box and see if you can get the same line. If you get the same line, that means your this equation or your this name for this line BC is correct. Okay, so let me do it. Y is equal to negative 2/3. So 2/3 x minus. In fact, 0.667 is actually 2/3. Okay, in fraction. Doesn't look right, right? So let me see. Instead of this, let me just get 0.667. So we know that we make a mistake. So where did we make a mistake? Can you see? They show us this is the line. So this line does not match with BC. So that means something is not right here. So where did we make a mistake? I think we made a mistake for our gradient. Can you double check? -4 over 1.5. Can you help me check one more time? -4 divided by 1.5. So what's the answer for -4 divided by 1.5? Let me do it over here also. It's still -2 over 3. Let me see. -4 divided by 1.5. Hold on. Cannot be leh. -4 is bigger than 1.5. How can it be 2 over 3? You see? When we make mistake, I can know one. 4 divided by 1.5 should be more than 1, right? Is it -3 over 2? Yeah, I think it's -3 over 2. This one. You want to redo or not? -4 divided by 1.5. 4 is bigger than 1.5. So it has to be more than 1. So can you double check for me? Is it -3 over 2 instead? 4 divided by 1.5. Yep. -2 and 2/3. Yes. You see? So, okay. So like I say, it's very easy to make mistake, but it's fine. It's fine. When you reach set 1 and beyond, you can always check whether you get the correct answer or not. If you get the wrong answer, correct yourself. Okay? So we make a mistake for our y-intercept. So it should be -2/3. So probably you did not make a mistake. Maybe I heard wrongly, but anyway, it's okay. So it should be -2 and 2/3. So cross this out. So let me just delete the unnecessary stuff. So it's fine if you make a mistake, but the more important thing is you know how to self-correct. Okay, so -4 divided by 1.5. -4 divided, so it's -2 and 2/3. Yeah, this looks more like it. So this is -2 and 2/3. Okay, good. So can you erase your handwriting? So now I'm going to key in this y equals to, I don't need to key in again. Do you know why? I just need to add a 2 here. Can you erase the handwriting first, please, for me? So let me just give it a 2. So 2 and 2/3. This software does not recognize mixed number. So you need to convert it to 8 over 3. Can you see? They overlap. Yeah, blue color. I mean, no, green color, light green color. Here. So this is your light green color. And this light green color, it overlaps with our BC. Can you see? Can you see overlaps? Overlaps means 重复. Okay, one on top of the other. So yeah, so if it overlaps, right, that means, yeah, you got it right. That means this is the one. Okay. So can you see how we can actually get the name for a line, and then we can actually check whether our name is correct for this line using technology? Then you must be wondering, hey, I'm not allowed to use technology in my test, right? It's okay. At least we can use technology to convince ourselves in real life. And then when it comes to test, that's another issue. Okay, we will deal with it later on, but at least we need to get it right in real life. Okay, so I have just make use of this technology to demonstrate to you how you can get the name for this line. So remember, every straight line has this convention for the name. So it's y equals to mx plus c. Your job is to find out the m, which is the gradient, and the c, which is the y-intercept. Okay, so yeah. Do you think you know how to do this kind of question? Like if I give you a line and then you can get the name for me? Do you think you can manage? Going forward, I'm going to give you a few questions on this. Yeah. So are you confident you can do a few questions like this? So I think it's good that you go back and download the GeoGebra graphing calculator. Yeah, just for your info, if you have some online learning materials from your school, right, MOE curriculum, they are actually making use of this GeoGebra graphing calculator. Okay, because I saw from my students, they're actually using this for graphing questions. So that's why I learned about that. They are using graphing software like this app. So that's why I started downloading this and I started to learn about this also. This software is not like, oh, I came across it like out of nowhere. Okay, I came across it because one of my students he just demonstrated his online learning materials, and yeah, he's from Singapore, Sec 3. So he's using this software or app in his school. So I started adopting this software as well, or this app as well. Okay, and I find this app is very powerful, and you will soon realize it. Okay, good. So going forward, I'm going to give you questions that is related to more related to Cartesian coordinate geometry, because this is going to be the next chapter. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? 有吗 Hello. Okay, before we end the day, so just want to get an update from you from 1 to 10. So this one is super good. This one is not at all. So my question is, how are you at the moment? How are you at the moment? 9. Oh, wow, good. Yeah, 9.5. So yes. So hopefully we get to meet each other after this month. Okay, so cheer up, and then yeah, see you. Bye bye. Thanks.